The NBA is back, and so is the Fantasy Bar. 6 of my favorite plays for the 2-game slate on Thursday night, including my favorite value plays. A couple guys I think could go overlooked here. And, of course, my favorite play on the slate. Who is it? Belly up to the Fantasy Bar and find out. Welcome back, guys. The NBA is finally back. It's good to be back here in the Fantasy Bar, providing 6 of my favorite plays for that 2-game Thursday slate. Welcome in. Can't wait to break things down. Before we get into some NBA talk, guys, got to get over to RotoGrinders. Special offer for you guys for hanging out at the Fantasy Bar. Go to rotogrinders.com/beer, and that's going to get you $10 off an RG premium subscription that covers baseball, basketball we're about to talk about, NFL, let's hope we have a season, as well as the PGA Tour, all under one umbrella, rotogrinders.com/beer. Now, make sure on YouTube you're hitting that thumbs up button, guys. That's the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar. If you enjoy the videos, you enjoy checking out the Fantasy Bar, that's all I need from you, that thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Going to be doing baseball, a couple videos already out this week. Going to be doing NBA a couple times a week. Tonight's video, as well as a big Friday video as well for the bigger slate. So stay tuned for that. So make sure you're getting notified when those videos are coming out. And last thing before we get into the plays, make sure you go and download the Sharpside app. Get access to lines, player props, everything you need. Better yet, we're giving you a free contest. The streak contest is back. All you got to do, go in and lock in your favorite bets for a chance at some great prizes over on the Sharpside app. All right, let's get into the plays, guys. Before we jump in, remember, 2-game slate. Nothing's going to be sneaky here. Got to be very creative. The biggest thing I can tell you, make sure you're leaving some salary on the table. Give your lineup a chance to be unique. No matter how much money, you can leave up to $2,000, $3,000 if you need to be unique, or even more. Don't zero out a lineup, especially in these big giant contests. So let's have some fun with it. We'll have a more in-depth video with more games on Friday, but still a chance to win some money here, some massive tournaments on Thursday. So enough of me babbling. Let's get into it. Let's start with Donovan Mitchell of the Jazz. So no Bogdanovich for the Utah Jazz, and a lot of people shake their heads, say, who cares about that? Look, this guy took up more usage and more shots than you probably realize. So you take him off the floor. You can find this information over at RotoGrinders using our Court IQ tool. Invaluable information, in my opinion. But we take Bogdanovich off the floor. Guess what that usage rate looks like? You see it right on your screen, over 34% for Donovan Mitchell. Now we look at the matchup here with New Orleans pre-COVID, giving up the 7th most fantasy points per game to the shooting guard position, and this shows in the numbers. Donovan Mitchell's been very good against this team so far this season, averaging over 51 Draftkings points a game in 3 games versus New Orleans. Now, Drew Holiday was not in all those games. That'll be the argument here, but I still think there's room here with no Bogdanovich, a team that struggles against this position, and a guy that's done very well against this team. Donovan Mitchell looks too cheap here in the low 7s on Draftkings and FanDuel. All right, let's go to the center position. Let's go with Derek Favors of the Pelicans. So Zion Williamson questionable as of this recording, going to be a game time decision, and I don't really care if he's in there or not. I really like this spot for Derek Favors. If Zion's in there, yeah, maybe it takes a few shots away, some usage away. Still a lot of opportunity here for Derek Favors. If Zion's out, maybe that's 5, 6, 7 more minutes we get of Derek Favors. Never a guy that's going to go out there and play 40 minutes, but not a guy that needs to, can get it done in limited minutes. We've seen it many, many times. So you look at the center position, I think a lot of people are going to get that safe, cozy feeling and go with Rudy Gobert. Gobert definitely the safe play here, but we don't want to be safe here. We're in the Fantasy Bar. We want to win these damn tournaments. Let's take some risks here, and I'm going to do that with Derek Favors. And a little bonus here, we get a little narrative street as well. You guys know I love me some narratives. Obviously, Derek Favors drafted by the Utah Jazz, but so far this season averaging 41 Draftkings points a game against his team. So nice cheap prices here. I think with everybody going Gobert, Favors could be lower owned than he should be. Whether Zion's in or not, does not matter. Get Derek Favors in those lineups. All right, let's go back to the Jazz. Let's go back to the point guard position with Mike Conley Jr. So I've been reading a lot of reports, trying to pay attention to all these players with NBA starting back up, and heard nothing but good things here about Mike Conley. Looking healthier, looking more aggressive, not looking like the guy we saw pre-coronavirus, looking like a different man. And this is a guy we know can stuff the stat sheet. These are the kind of guys I love in NBA DFS, a guy that can hit every single category, does not rely on one thing, does not rely on his scoring, doesn't need his shot to be falling, but if he is, it's nothing but bonus points here with Mike Conley, who we know the assists are going to be there, a good rebounding guard for his size, and a guy that can get some steals as well. So contributing in every single category. And when we look at New Orleans, bottom 5 in fantasy points allowed to the point guard position here. Mike Conley, let's pair up them Utah Jazz guards, Conley and Donovan Mitchell here on opening night. All right, let's move to the next game. We got Lakers Clippers. Let's get you some value I think is going to be overlooked here with shooting guard Danny Green of the Lakers. So no Avery Bradley. This is another one like the Bogdanovich. Most people are like, who the hell cares about Avery Bradley? Well, we look at the numbers, and Danny Green's going to get a nice sizable boost here with Avery Bradley out of the lineup. And I know they brought in J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters. We'll see how these minutes play out, but I got to think Danny Green, especially with his defense, is going to play big-time minutes here in this game. Let's dig into the matchup here a little bit with Danny Green. He's done very well against the Clippers this season. We look at his salary right now with some of the numbers he's put up. We're getting a 7x return. What's not to love about a 7x return? I'll take that any night of the week. And we know Danny Green, if he does get hot with that shot, and kind of the opposite we talked about with Mike Conley, but if he does get hot here, we are going to get a massive performance from Danny Green. So the minutes are there. That's what I'm looking at with Danny Green. The price, definitely favorable, near min price on both sides. And the upside that we know is there. Does he do it every night? No, he does not. That's why he's 3,500 and 4,100. But I think the upside is there. Willing to take that risk here tonight with Danny Green. All right, moving on. We're going to stay right with the Lakers. Some more value with small forward, power forward, Kyle Kuzma. So with the Lakers, I don't think you're going to get 35, 40 minutes here from LeBron James. Anthony Davis, we know, is already dealing with an injury. Surprise, surprise, NBA is back. So I think that's good things for Kyle Kuzma. Teams have to put less emphasis on getting the number 1 seed. There is no home court advantage here in the bubble. Now, teams still want to be the number 1 seed, of course, but I think there's less emphasis on it. Why run LeBron James into the ground? Let's get Kyle Kuzma some minutes. Let's get this guy going as our number 3 option. We started to see glimpses of that before the coronavirus hit, but when I look at prices here, really stood out to me, under 5,000 for a guy of this magnitude. So great buy low here with Kyle Kuzma on both sides. And this matchup, once again, we're digging into matchups, averaging over 30 Draftkings points a game against the Los Angeles Clippers. He gives us 30. We're easily 6, 7, 8x here on these numbers. Let's not overthink it. Great value here on the Lakers with Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma. All right, it's time to take a look at my favorite play for the 2-game Thursday night slate. But before we do that, guys, we're going to run it back. We're going to do the Beast of the Night contest. All you have to do is get in the comment section of the video and let me know fantasy points for my Beast of the Night on DraftKings. The closest guess is going to win themselves a free week of RotoGrinders Premium, or if you're already a loyal subscriber, we're going to send you a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. So without further ado, let's get into it. Good to be back. Let's take a look at my favorite play on Thursday night. You know, Mass, the Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time. We got to get you a Clipper here, and there's a couple choices I really like, but we're going to go with Kawhi Leonard, tonight's Beast of the Night. So we know Kawhi loves to get on these big stages and perform, and I know that's narrative-driven, that's not number-driven. We'll get into some numbers here in a minute, but just think about over the years, Kawhi Leonard has really thrived in these spots, and when I'm looking at ownership, I think LeBron James is going to have heavy ownership here on this slate. I think Paul George, who's much cheaper than Kawhi Leonard, is going to probably be the highest owned player on the slate. So why don't we avoid some of that ownership? Not that Paul George is a bad play, and you're not going to be able to avoid all ownership on a 2-game slate. But if Kawhi Leonard's going to be a fraction of the ownership of Paul George, I want a lot of exposure to that in tournaments. Let's look at the matchup here. We gave you some narratives here. We gave you some ownership talk. Numbers-wise, playing very well against the Lakers, averaging 31.6 rebounds, 3-1-1 against this team this season. Kawhi Leonard, too cheap, under 10K on both sides. Going to be less owned than some of these other studs on this slate. They're going to be a staple of my Thursday night lineup. Kawhi Leonard, easily my favorite play on Thursday night in tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that wraps up for the NBA return. I'm losing my voice. So excited to have NBA back in our lives. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, feedback, that comment section is there for you. Don't forget fantasy points for Kawhi Leonard on DraftKings for your chance at some free RJ Premium or a free RotoGrinders t-shirt. You can also follow me on Twitter at Beermakersfan. Love talking baseball, NBA over there with you guys, but want to say thank you to you guys for your support before COVID, during COVID, the people that reached out, and now for you watching the video. I say thank you guys, and I really appreciate it. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut. Best of luck tonight, guys. Have fun with it. We'll be back with a video for Friday as well, so stay tuned for that. Good luck, and we'll see you.
Hey, thanks for checking out our videos. If you want more expert advice on DraftKings, FanDuel, or any other daily fantasy sports, make sure you check out the current videos playlist